I found an Instagram post that claims that 7 civilizations vanished without a trace. And honestly, some of that sounds impossible. How do you vanish? How do you leave no trace? I decided that today I'm going to check every single one of them that is mentioned in that post. I like to do this a lot. I'm a very curious person. I always like to, I find something weird, I will take just some time to go ahead and look into that and see if it's actually true. Let's dive into the first one. The Aksumite Empire. The claim says ancient Rome considered this African empire one of the 4 greatest powers on earth. Never heard of that one before. Yet, within a generation, it collapsed completely and was forgotten by the outside world for centuries. What? Aksumite Empire, I've never heard of them. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's just that I have not had the opportunity to look into this before. One of the 4 greatest powers on Earth. So I'm going to look for the Aksumites. If it was really one of the 4 greatest powers on Earth, I want to know which were those 4 greatest powers on Earth. And this sounds very vague, like within a generation. How many years is a generation? 70 years maybe? Let's call it 100 years. So you collapse an entire civilization in 100 years, 70 years. I mean, that sounds like something that could happen. But if you were one of the 4 greatest powers on Earth, how would you vanish like that, right? So, Aksumite Empire. I will do my research here. Aksumite Empire. Oh, we got it right away. Kingdom of Aksum. Okay, let's dive in.
For the ancient Greeks and Romans,
I have finished my research. I think that it took longer than I wanted. And yes, the Kingdom of Aksum was considered one of the 4 greatest empires in the world during the 3rd century. It lasted a lot of time, maybe 8 centuries of power, but at some point it was considered one of the 4 greatest empires in the world. So that part is a yes. So basically the Aksum Empire was an African empire and they were located around here. This is the Red Sea. And they were located around here. They would conquer part of Sudan, this called Eritrea. I think Aksum is located here. They had a very strong relationship with the Byzantine Roman Empire, so they were closely with them. They would trade with the Byzantine Romans, China, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. It had nobility. I mean, they have a very sophisticated structure. But the fall, the Persians took over their land right here, leaving them with basically no power. And yeah, of course, if you lose your main thing, then everything starts to crumble. Other civilizations, some Islam people from the left here came to Aksum and forced people to go out, and this was around, this all happened at around 1137 AC. So the way that this is presented, it shows like this was an empire that, you know, it's so old that we cannot know stuff from it. Collapsed within a generation. After 800 years, it took you like around 70 years, 100 years to collapse. This might be right. This is going to be like half and a half. Could have collapsed within a generation, but forgotten by the world for centuries. That is not. I mean, it was 1137 after Christ. We have so many records. Humanity at that point, it had so many ways to have records of it. If they were trading with China, Romans, India, these all big civilizations, they were on record. They must have been trade records, everything. They must have been all over the place. People should have known who they were. So they were not forgotten by the world for centuries. So I'm calling this a false claim. And that's it for this one. Yeah, it is. So at the end, it is partially accurate, right? So let's go to the second claim, the Minoan Civilization. Oh my God, let's close all of this. All right, Minoan Civilization. I'm going to try to take less time with this because I cannot stay here all night. The Minoan Civilization. Europe's first great civilization, built indoor plumbing and multi-story palaces thousands of years ago, at the exact same moment. What? The Minoan. So what are the claims we have? It is Europe's first great civilization. I mean, what are Europe's great civilizations? Romans? Greeks? Before that, I don't know very well. I think I will find out. You say thousands of years ago. We're talking, how could we define it? Thousands is more than one, right? So 2000 years, it might count as thousands of years ago. So year zero from Common Era, I think that would count, but from the way that they're putting it, that they were multi-story palaces, thousands of plumbing. I mean, I think that Romans had that figured out already 2,000 years ago. So I'm hoping this is at least or 3,000 years ago. They disappear from every island at the exact same time. That sounds like a biblical rapture or something like that. I mean, I don't like to use the word exact because nothing is exact. So exact same time is like what? They were wiped out by a tsunami or something. So let's look into this. Yeah, I think I'll be right back in a few minutes. Yes, so I just finished the investigation on the Minoan Civilization. This one actually has a lot of truth. Apparently it was, yes. This was in the Bronze Age. This was like 3300 to 1500 before Common Era. They were actually, they're attributed the name of the first civilization here. Not much to deep dive into this. This first claim, it is true. Apparently, yes, they did have toilets for 2,000 years, and apparently you can still go and check them. They had plumbing indeed, so that's actually true. So based on this plumbing, yes, it did. And architecture, like multi-story buildings, I actually found this is the one that the Instagram post is showing. And yes, I mean that this totally counts as a multi-story building. Is one and two, and that is multiple. So that claims is true. And general wipe of the civilization at the very exact same time. Well, here's the thing. For me, this is a yes and a no. Exact time is not an instant. If we define it as a period, then yes, there is a lot of truth to it. Just to let you know a little bit, where was this located? Basically, this was Greece. I think this one shows it better. They were located here in this island, the island of Crete, and there was an event, the eruption of a volcano. It occurred around 110 kilometers north of Crete, and apparently it was a very big volcano, way big. And as we know, volcanoes are dangerous stuff, and it caused a lot of harm. However, I saw this BBC deep dive into what actually happened. And what it's actually saying is that it took over 50 years for it to fully disappear, right? And that because of the volcano, there was also possibly tsunamis. They did some studies, they found mud over mud over mud layering for several years, stuff that was not supposed to be there. So apparently, possible tsunami, it also occurred. According to the archaeologists, all of these changes because of the volcano, the amount of time that all the gases and stuff from the volcano, stayed around, it caused that summers were like cold and harvesting became an issue. Anyways, it became like unsustainable to have life there. And the last thing that I read is that the last people from this civilization were defeated by the actual Greeks from the inlands. So, yes, I would say that if we treat this time as a period of the 50 years after the volcano erupted, I would say this is accurate. Just that, I mean, not disappeared. Well, look at the claim. The claim says they disappeared from every island at the exact same moment. The volcano did not wipe them out like that. They continue living. So this is, I would call it partially true, right? They didn't just cease to exist. So yeah, the first one had a lot. The Aksumite had a lot of stuff that is debatable. It is more accurate with the Minoan Civilization. Imagine if you don't look into this, you just keep swiping Instagram and find this, and you read this, and you're like, "Oh my God, what happened there?" And then you talk with someone, and that someone says it to another person, and suddenly everybody is just wrong about something. But yeah, okay. So the Minoan Civilization. Let's go to the next one. I'm just trying to see if what we're getting online is actually true or not. I'm doing this job, so if you ever find something like this, you already know. The Indus Valley Civilization. So the claim, a civilization more advanced than ancient Egypt, simply walked away from their cities one day, and after a century of archaeology, we still have no idea why. What? Simply walked away. A civilization more advanced than ancient Egypt simply walked away from their cities. We could call one day as at some point, right? And after a century of archaeology, we still have no idea why. All right, all right. So in the civilization, let's write the facts. Also, I mean, most of these images are AI generated, so I'm not even going to fact check the images. It depends on what time you're looking at Egypt, because at some point Egypt was no longer the more advanced civilization on Earth. I'm not sure if they ever were the most. Yeah, there is not much about this because, first of all, this was found only around 100 years ago. And as you know, archaeology demands a lot of private investigations and stuff. So, yeah, there's still a lot to uncover from them. What do we know? Were they more advanced than Egypt? I didn't found a direct relationship with that, so I'm going to just put it like maybe, maybe not. I mean, they had a lot of uh, advanced stuff. They would have craftsmanship, and they would have trade and transportation. They would have art. They would have a lot of decoration pieces. They were advanced. Now, were they more advanced than ancient Egypt? Hard to know. Let's just quick Google it. Egypt depends on the area of focus. Depends on the area of focus. Yes. Planning and sanitation, surprising monumental architecture. So, I mean, they were advanced. At least we could compare them. So that's something good. But not directly more advanced. So this claim is partially right. That depends on the area of focus. They just walked away from their cities. I found this very important information that it will complete the research for this one. They climb several stages, perhaps on over a century or more. So we don't know why. This is partially true. They were raided, they were conquered, the civilization became weak and weak and weaker over time. So we don't know why it's not like they just vanished, right? That is the main idea of this post, that people just vanished. They did not just vanish. They just slowly, like any other empire in history, they just declined. They just walked away from their cities is also partially true. They didn't just walk away from their city. Uh, there was a lot that happened to them that forced them to leave, basically. This is partially true. But I will give the benefit of the doubt because they have not been studied for longer than, for example, ancient Egypt, that the Romans were already in contact with them, or Persia or stuff like that, which uh, has been like the main focus of archaeology. I would assume because it's what we know the most. I mean, like regular people. So the Indus Valley Civilization, we still have no idea why. That's not entirely correct. Next, the Cahokia, the Native American city larger than medieval London, built a pyramid bigger than Giza. Then every single person disappeared, leaving no trail and no explanation behind. I don't have a lot of time, right? So let's do a quick look into this, like very quick. So the Cahokia, larger than medieval London. That is not hard, I think. I'm not very aware. Okay, I'm not. I don't have the data to know that. Pyramid. Okay, bigger than Giza. That's a claim. No explanation behind. I think we'll know. Cahokia Civilization, pre-Columbian birthplace in north of Mexico, featuring monumental earthwork pyramids, a complex. Or Cahokia Mountain State. Let's look for the pyramid, okay? Yes, it was a pre-Columbian, it was Native American, okay? Settlement on the Mississippian culture, North American. So let's look for the pyramid. The main pyramid of ancient Cahokia is Mongoose, the largest pre-Columbian earthwork in the Americas. Located near Gunsville, rises about 100 feet high and matches the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Oh, look at this. It's the Cahokia Pyramid of Giza. In 11, explorer Ben Dan stumbled into Cahokia, massive complex of over 100 earthen pyramids in Illinois. Big. This probably was larger than London. Okay, that was not helpful. Some earthwork. Larger base than the greater total volume of the Great Pyramid, though it is much shorter. So we are talking about base footprint, but high, not even close. So this pyramid was 30 meters tall, and the Great Pyramid of Giza is around 146 meters high. So this claim is misleading. So we're going to put it very orange here. And then every single person disappeared. Did the people disappear? No, the one that did not disappear or vanish, right? They were integrated into their neighborhood. So another claim that is not right. The Anasazi. I think that is the Sea People, for example. I look into this one. I will leave this one for another occasion. The Sea People, unidentified naval force appeared from nowhere around 1200 BC, destroyed every major civilization on Earth within our generation, then vanished back into the sea, leaving no homeland, no graves, and no explanation. I looked into this one, and the Sea People, they were not unidentified. Sea People, mysterious confederation of seafaring tribe. They were like the pirates of the Mediterranean. They didn't vanish. They later became the Philistines and other type of people, but they were basically raiders. Did they destroy every major civilization on Earth? I did the research, and they did not. I mean, they were just raiders. They became a kingdom at some point, but they did not like to cover everything. The Greeks were around, Romans were around, Egyptians. Um, we didn't. I mean, they were not uh, destroyed by these sea people. Okay, well, it was around 1200. It was the Bronze Age, so the Romans were not there. Sorry about that. Greeks were not there. So far, we have looked at the Aksumite, the Minoan Civilization, the Indus Valley, and the Cahokia Civilization. I think that is going to be enough for today. Um, I didn't think it was going to take this long to record this video. Just quick update. The Anasazi, I didn't look into them. The Sea People, I looked into them, and they did not destroy every major civilization on Earth within a generation, and they just didn't just vanish back into the sea, leaving no homeland. That's not right. They were just like pirates in the Mediterranean, and they just were looking for home, and they got to Asia, and they created some settlements there. But leaving no homeland, not right. They were called like sea peoples, but they had their their identities, their names. No graves, no explanation that it was not right. And yeah, I didn't have time to look at the Olmecs, but yeah, I like this exercise because we were looking at those 7 civilizations that vanished without a trace. Most of the cases, the main claim of vanish without a trace is not right. They simply just decline into something else or into another people, or they were conquered, or they were raided. But yeah, I mean, you cannot just believe anything you watch online. So I'm going to make other videos like this. Not only of this, I like a lot of astronomy and stuff like that. There are some facts that I would like to share with you in the future. But yeah, this is all for today. I hope you like this type of thing. I'm trying this is new. If you like this kind of stuff, I talk about a lot of things. I like cameras. I like running. I like sports. I like YouTube. I like cars. I like astronomy. I'm a very curious person, and if you follow this channel, you will find a lot of curious things to know about. And yes, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you can, just like this video, if you can subscribe, both are free, and you will make me happy. Thank you so much for your time, and I think I'll see you in the next time. The next video is also going to be about something like this, probably astronomy related. There are also Earth facts. There is a lot of things that I wanted to talk about this. There's, for example, one post that said like these are doors that the human being has never been there to open. And that's like, what do you mean? I mean, we humans, we definitely want to open all the doors. So what do you mean that there are doors that has not been opened? So the next video is going to be probably about that one, or astronomy. I'm still deciding on that. Please subscribe and tune in so you can see the next thing. We're going to just fact check online here. I'm not a deep dive into the subjects. It's just feeding our curiosity and knowing if the information that we're putting into our brains is actually true or is just BS and AI BS. So thank you so much again for your time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.